Have you wondered what is going to happen to the movie and the video industry with AI becoming such a good creator of videos? Do you know what to expect and what disruptions are going to be coming into the video industry very soon? And who's going to have an advantage in this industry? Would jobs be lost? If you're thinking about any of this and you're curious about the future, this podcast is for you. Please stick around and we're going to have a healthy discussion. We have two members in this podcast who have been in the video industry and video distribution industry for multiple decades now. And then we have a very good AI enthusiast who has also been generating AI-based videos. So let's kick off the discussion with that. And just to get a pulse check on where AI is right now and how good it is with generation of videos, let me share my screen for a second and then show you what we have, some stuff on YouTube. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Let's see if we can guess which one is AI among these two. You want to take a guess?
The top
The
one?
top one?
Yeah, the top one.
This one is AI generated and this one's real.
Maybe both are AI
You guys are good
generated.
at this. Let's see.
The first one is AI generated.
First one is AI
The top one?
generated.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, we are wrong on that. Yeah.
really? Okay, the first one here.
Would be AI.
I think the bottom is AI because it's no, I will say the bottom one.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
So that just tells you how good AI is getting with video generation. You can't guess anymore. So it's not so easy. The deepfake has been around for a while already, but all kinds of video generation is getting really, really good these days with AI. Right. So now let's open it up to the forum. And what do you think about the situation and what do you think is going to change in the industry itself? So movie makers can use AI and all industries are currently using AI for generating all of their videos, right? What do you think is going to change in the industry?
Who wants to go first?
Go for
I
the
mean,
Let's
side.
start with our guest. I will say let's
Mm-hmm.
start with our
let's
guest.
go with
Yeah.
our guest.
Yeah, we have an AI enthusiast. We wanna hear
So,
his view.
so
Yeah.
the question is, what's gonna change with AI in the equation?
Yes. What is going to happen to the industry as a whole? Like there is movie production industry, there are movie makers, and there is ad makers, filmmakers, YouTube creators. What is going to happen to all of these people with AI being such a prominent figure in generating videos?
I think we are gonna get into a space where there will be too much content and less people to watch it. I think
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be a brain drain.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are interested, and especially the young ones, right? Because I've been to some of the college grads ceremonies lately. Not college grads, the people who are getting into college. We just had the summer just pass by. So people are moving away from tech sector because they want job stability, and surprisingly their interest is more around authentic content rather than AI generated stuff because they understand it's cool, but it's not something they want to consume, especially the smart
Mm-hmm.
ones. They're really smart about, I know what it is, I know it can be fun now, but I'm looking long term. So people are really smart these days, especially the young ones and the bright ones. They're moving away
Mm-hmm.
from it for that reason. And yeah, I thought like people will be enthusiastic about consuming AI content, but they're really worried about how much bias it natively has in terms of propagating whatever you want. You can just have
Mm-hmm.
deepfake and make people believe anything by pretending to be somebody else, like scams, like Elon Musk, like saying like you can invest in this crypto. So those kind of scams are getting like really, really intriguing uh, to bifurcate from
That's
what's real
only
versus
part
what you
of the
might say.
situation, right? Like there are real creators who've made like thousands of videos in person trying to record on camera and all that. But now they're using video from AI to just augment their content. So they still write a script, but the video
Augment.
recording itself is not done. So how
Take
how
about
do
the
you distinguish between those?
but that kind of content will be like very skewed in terms of like how much density they have in the overall equation. Like take some of the popular YouTubers like Beast. Their content cannot be generated by AI. It will be like
Why
completely
not? Why
up.
not? I mean, it's just a matter of time, in my understanding, right? Why not? Can we not generate Mr. Beast content
You can, but
with
that
AI?
is deviating away from what it lead to the popularity, right? If he can, 1,000 people can too. What is bifurcating him versus somebody who is creating AI content? And definitely popular platforms like YouTube expecting you to label it. They might be lenient now, but they're really good at detecting AI content. It's blurry right now, but all the major providers wanting to flag whatever they generate, and they want that to be some sort of watermarking there or digital footprint there that leaves and tells that this is definitely an AI generated one, especially when they just download it from the source and try to upload it, it'll be getting flagged. But it might be tedious, but it's difficult to circumvent that kind of guardrails in place. So anything that's going to top up uh, the streaming charts or any sort of popularity chart, it's going to be something that is of authentic content. It won't be something that AI generated, because again, the bias, at least for the younger generation, is moving more towards people who create things that is not possible with AI. The expressions, the ideas, that intuition that people have, I think people are enjoying more than like an AI generated content, that like a cartoon or something, the FIFA animation that I really enjoyed watching, but it is not sustainable as a model, like from end to starting to end, without having to face some sort of compliance challenge. Like you can have a anime representation and a story lineup of FIFA World Cup and portray
Mhm.
it as a story. It will be a fun ride, or propaganda a studio of what their caliber looks like, but that won't be the most trending way that people will be consuming media. It will always going to be an authentic content that's going to survive at the end of the day, to my perspective.
But what's your take, Sayed, on the industry itself, the movie industry especially? So, so most of the AI created content is right now typically on YouTube and social media platforms, right? Um, and what will happen to the movie industry?
I'm, I think to start off with, Prasanna is more of my kind of a guy. I like the analogy that he brought about, right? Um, I'm not against the AI and I'm not pro AI in terms of when it comes to content generation, right? I mean, today when we talk about, imagine we were from the era where you had, and I'll take this concept out. Tom Cruise, Top
Mhm.
Gun, right?
Mhm.
We all came in, we saw Top Gun, we fell in love, we all wanted to be combat pilots at some point of time. I wanted to be, all right?
Mhm.
Uh, I just missed out because I grew taller. Uh, I couldn't fit into so my NDA, I kind of, I
Fight for
dropped out of
flights.
NDA because, yeah, I didn't get selected. Now, that's a different prerogative. But when it comes to real movie making, when you have people involved, emotions, the way it comes out, I think at any given point of time, you just can't beat that out, right? I mean, today when we
But
talk about AI,
Mhm.
eventually you'll say like, yeah, there might be cost factor into it. The production houses might feel the pinch. They feel that this is much better, but that's basically where I would kind of lean on to what Prasanna said. There's going to be a lot of content, relevance would be lost.
but at some point you mentioned it, like it is about emotions, and so somebody who's creating a movie, he went through an emotion and he experienced something. He just wants to share it to another person without him having to go there or experience it himself. That
Mhm.
is the whole point of making a movie, right? Or a video.
Yep, it
So
is.
if the same amount of emotion can be given by an AI generated video, what is the point of having all the struggle in making that video? Like, who cares if Tom Cruise really hung on to an airplane when the video can be made with a similar quality without
Mhm.
him dying there?
And that's where it gets down to, right? And I'm gonna tell you, when you have AI, you get picture perfect emotions. As humans, our emotions are so versatile. You don't need AI will never be able to replicate. For me, you can create top class video, you can create top class content. Imagine I'll go back again to those days when you had all those because we are all from Southeast Asian communities or from the diaspora. Go back to some of those age-old actors that we grew up watching. Imagine their interviews, they would always say a particular scene or shot was picturized in a way, but the actors at that instant, based on how the whole thing was, they just changed the emotions. And that is basically what clicked. You'll have
But are you sure we cannot generate that kind of video? So say
I
I
don't think so.
give AI 15 videos of a similar expression from a person and ask it to generate
Mhm.
more videos of that same expression or a different expression. It has learned enough. It can generate those expressions more really than the person can replicate himself. Like Mohanlal, for example, he'll act differently in each shot.
Uh-huh.
If we make the same shot over and over again, he'll give a different emotion and different twist to it.
Correct.
Uh, because he's such a versatile actor and he's so much in his head, and his
Yep.
experience just comes out in different ways, right? But but AI can be so predictable. You can get the exact emotion out of AI and
hmm
and make the video or movie much better. I'd say.
I think
So,
that's where it is. I don't need the exactness, no, right? That's
yeah.
basically where the whole thing. You mentioned the right thing about Mohanlal. Imagine Al Pacino, again, another star we all love,
Mhm.
Godfather.
Yeah.
Imagine, or Scent of a Woman, right?
Mhm.
AI can actually give you those contents the way with maybe 10, 15 kind of emotions, but at a particular given point of time. Now we are saying we are creating the God particle with AI. I don't think that AI will be able to equate what humans could do right in a matter of milliseconds, right? Turn of events. You'll change that emotion. I don't think looking at that particular instance, AI would ever be able to achieve. Yeah, you will have content, no doubt. Like we just saw initially, imagine the clarity. Some of us kind of fumbled what was AI versus what was the real catch.
Mhm.
So it brought about that quality of video, that quality of output. But in terms of the emotions, imagine how much. Let me go back to the first image that you had, the first video. You had that
Mhm.
pastry cake, right?
Mhm.
All of us got confused. At least I got confused saying the circular formation on top of the icing to one that
Mhm.
was clean icing.
Mhm.
I was like, to an extent, what was that? I mean, what emotions that does that bring about? It's
Right.
fine. I mean, everybody has a different viewpoint. So I'm like I said, I'm not against AI, but I think when it comes to human touch, the feeling, um, that's still quite far. I don't think AI.
What do you think about this, AJ? Are you for or against AI? And where do you stand on this gradient?
I get a couple of points when Persona was talking about, so let me start with that. So let's talk with Mr. Beast, right? We all know what Mr. Beast does, what kind of videos he create, and there's a genuine authenticity part to those videos. The most recent video, which I just found out earlier today, that they spent it about 100 hours in the pyramids in Cairo, and
Mhm.
they got the permission from the government of Cairo and the government of Egypt, and they were going back and forth, and they were saying that we're not going to do anything foul. We just want to capture those 100 hours while we are inside one of those big pyramids, and
Mhm.
it's for more educational purposes. Now, keeping that in mind, I know those are human beings. They will
Mhm.
be, let's just say, they will be captured or imprisoned for those 100 pure hours.
Mhm.
There are humans involved. God knows what can happen. For the sake of an argument, let's say if there are spirits and ghosts over there, snakes or scorpions over there. If I know real human beings are there, I'm getting goosebumps. The emotions
Just
it
more
will be
relatable.
create, yes, the
Mhm.
emotions which I will create in my mind are far more different than when I know when somebody says this is AI generated. So
They
that's
don't
where
say
my
that. So think about this, right? So we're not saying there is no graphics involved in any of the movies today. Like there
I'm
are
getting there
hundred,
also. Yeah.
right? So computer graphics has been around for like what 40 years now.
Ages, yeah,
So
yeah,
yes, so most movies that you see, many movie scenes like DC and Marvel will not exist if there is no computer graphics.
correct,
All those movies need computer graphics. Almost half of the content or more is just generated. But it's just manual labor that's involved a whole lot more than what is going to be needed in the future. Right?
correct. So it
What
depends.
huh,
So it depends on the context, sir.
yeah,
The context makes a huge difference. So, like what I was writing down, it came to in my mind, and I wasn't thinking about DC Marvel movies. That as a mainstream, as a content getting generated, I will not appreciate that. But if it's a gap filler, and what I mean by gap filler, like when we had the FIFA World Cup, there were, there were interactive videos like Prasanna mentioned, like Syed mentioned, I'm perfectly fine with that. I actually truly enjoy those kind of things. And when we talk about DC Marvels, there's human in the loop.
mm,
When you keep human in the loop while integrating and creating that marriage between the AI element as well as the human element, that is perfectly fine. But then on the flip side, I would also say if you create everything which is AI generated, then human made will truly become a premium label commodity.
right. At
So
some point, you'd have to become premium, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it depends. Maybe in the future, those human imperfections, I will enjoy it more rather than having that perfect content created because I know I will appreciate that. So it depends.
I see. But how far can humans go? See, seriously. So like dinosaur movies and King Kong movies,
Yeah,
and those are already computer graphics generated,
because we
right?
are going with a mindset. We are
The,
going with that mindset that they are pre-generated, they're AI generated because we have surpassed that era. But
yeah,
if
like
something which is
most of the movies that are like world level popular have a phenomenal amount of computer graphics involved. I would I would rather consume the same movies without having to spend like $200 million on that movie, right? I don't want the production house to spend like $200 million on that movie and ask me to pay $20 to watch the movie. I'd rather pay 2 cents and ask them to produce it in $20,000 with AI.
so what's your take on this movie which just got made, Odyssey? Zero CGI, zero AI generation, and it's
Mhm.
just breaking the numbers on the box office right now. Every single person, when we were discussing in our previous session, I also mentioned that in one of the scenes or multiple scenes, there were about 100 to 1,200 people. They were
Mhm.
true human beings, and there were people who were just running through cameras back and forth in those battlefield scenes.
But is that needed? Is all I'm saying. So you could generate that same
It's a
content
premium
for two
label.
hundred
It's a premium.
for $200. You could generate that content and have the same scene. If you have enough references for it, why don't we just generate that content and
If
save that labor and give me the content that I need?
so, if
So
everybody's creating the same thing, then what makes the difference?
why would they generate the same thing? So the AI is capable enough. So imagination is in our heads. I understand. So storytelling is still important. I understand, right?
Yep.
I as a director, I need to make a movie, and I have way more liberty and lot more freedom to generate that content with AI. Say I'm a director and I want to make a movie. I go to a producer. I don't get the budget. How many directors are right now blocked by that very reason? Just money is what is blocking their content from coming out to the world. Their stories are not told, right? If money is not the problem, if AI is going to give me the content that is needed to tell my story, I'll make that movie, and my story would have gone out to the world. Right? From a creator standpoint or from a consumer standpoint, I don't care if it is AI generated or um, real people involved. Right? I just need the emotions to be transferred over to me.
I I think the other option is, again, let me throw one word, and all of us to some extent are gonna laugh about it.
Mhm.
Area 51.
Mhm.
When we speak about Area 51 in US, it was a taboo, right? And none of them who at least were analysts um, in the spy world or who worked in the uh, what you call in the armed forces. Everybody's like Area 51. Oh, that's kind of what will you call like there ain't a thing. But the moment, imagine the Area 51, the concept came out as reality. It was broken. A lot of things out there, people did understand that, yeah, when you create movies, Independence Day, right? Everybody knew when Independence Day came out, it wasn't a conspiracy theory. Area 51 concept was basically broken. Then the US government was forced to come out and say, yeah, it was there. It was one of the experimental sites. We shut it down. It's not in operation anymore. But to us as humans, to an extent, we understand. Yeah, those are some of the concepts, like the aliens coming out, shooting the goo and everything. We know, yeah, that's AI. I'm okay to take it. But the reality and the emotions involved, where it's the human touch about Area 51, I think what needs to happen is you need to marry. It's like the hybrid concepts, right? Saying
Mhm.
humans need to be involved, need to have AI. As long as everything is into AI, like what Prasanna was saying, the best concept is today you've got animation. Um, Probably those are kind of things that everything will remain and will shut down. One of the
But that's
rightful
that's only today, right? As of today, AI probably is not generating as perfect content as you would expect. And at some point, it's going to get really good at it, and it will generate real good content, just like
Mhm.
humans would. It would look like a human-made video. And as long as the director or the producer does not say that this was produced with AI, nobody's even going to notice, I would say.
No,
And for
it's right.
for
But imagine the time spent, right? As of today, we're already watching a lot of AI content, and there was one data point that Prasanna also did bring about. Saying, imagine YouTube is kind of tagging AI content, and like it's coming onto a level which says, if someone flags, or even your consumers or viewers flag that this is AI, and I think there are a lot of videos out there which is actually trying to educate people, saying if you feel that this is AI, flag it, and it's gonna be taken out of your recommendation engine. I think a lot of these publishing houses are understanding that there is only so much scope for AI generated content, because you're gonna lose your masses, right? So like
mm,
there's not gonna be too much of leeway between what is reality to whatever is fiction AI. And AI today, the way the perception is, everything is just a conspiracy. It's just a theory, right? And they're building a lot of things out. And the fact that Prasanna was also mentioning, there is the younger generation, the smarter generations. Some of us who come in from the golden generations,
mhm.
we are we are in a position to actually demarket, saying this is not right. That's where AI, even if you start creating content and you kind of push in too much into the market early without uh, reaching that optimum level, I think even before it rises, it will fall. That's where I believe that, like I keep saying, I'm not pro AI, neither am I against AI generated video content.
You just want somewhere in the middle ground. You want AI generated content with the human touch involved. But let's talk about jobs for a few minutes now. So if with with all this happening, what jobs do you think is going to be lost, or what is going to get revamped? What do you think, Prasanna? What's going to change in the job market?
I already spoke to one of my master's professors that who taught me, and he's becoming a dean. I'm one of the alumni in Cal
Mm-hmm.
State. We recently had a touch base, and his concern is already real. I mean, whatever we think, it's going to be a job loss for sure. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not that it's going to happen or whether it's going to happen. It's already happening. We just don't see it, regardless of how companies are sugarcoating it. Either they're spending heavy on AI, that leading to disruption in job, or it's just AI taking over, which I don't think that's what's happening. I think it's going to happen. If it is not because of this reason, it's going to happen because of you don't need a huge audience to do what you do now. Like, movie industry is going to be like STLC, whether we like it or not. If you want to create a movie with AI, you need context to maintain the context point A to point Z when you take a movie.
Mhm.
So it's going to cost a lot of token today, but eventually it's going to be compute going to be pretty cheap, like how the in computer era just spiked up and an internet boom and just came down. So it's just going to be that phase. It's going to roll over, but there might be regulations coming in and out. But long story short, it's going to go through a way where you do see a lot of people trying to incorporate AI. There will be a pushback, and there will be somebody coming up saying that if this movie is completely made of AI, and it's going to be a huge price tag on that, and people will be discussing about, oh, we could have done that for like 10% of the actual cost. Then over time, many people will do it, and it will eventually subside, and you would see a one-man movie, like one director having an idea, creating a movie. I think it's very much of a reality within a decade. It's not like science fiction anymore. The only problem is AI is not there yet, but it's inevitable. It's going to get there. It's just going to be, you just need a large enough context window. You just need to maintain the consistency of the video that you're generating. You need to put all single snippet of video that you're generating as part of the context and just keep adding new frames to it, and you get a movie with the consistent frames that just tells a story, narrated the way you as a director or a storyteller you want to say. It's going to be there, and I think it's definitely going to happen, and there will be a lot of job cuts along the way. It's my take that it's going to happen regardless. It's just going to be a matter of time. I'm not really convinced that it's not going to happen, but it's just a matter of time. I'm anticipating it to happen anytime within the next 5 to 10 years, based on when we achieve AGI and how people are accepting of AI, and which countries are going to push back, which are going to be the frontier of adapting it. Like China is more open to adapting it. AI might be just chasing them in the name of that, and other countries like in the Europe might come up and say that, oh, we might want to stick with regulation, and eventually there are going to be some winners and going to be a devastating losers, and you don't want to be on the second side, regardless of what impact it's going to cause. So that's my take on how it's going to happen.
One
But
of the fears with, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I want to tap into what he mentioned. One of my fears is, so for example, my 12-year-old who goes to college, and imagine down the road he thinks he loves graphic designing.
Mhm.
When he graduated, doesn't matter if he graduated from Ivy League or any other European college who's equivalent to Ivy League, but as a entry level, how hard it's gonna be for him to gain that hands-on experience if he can't even get the job. So what's gonna happen to tons of those guys who will be graduating in this market for this domain? What's going to happen to them? Have we thought
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, the tough spot is in that graduating phase. People who are right now in the high school and they're going into college, or they're in college right now and they're going to graduate. But the next generation, think about 10 years from now, kids who are still in like 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they'll probably be way more equipped for the future. They'll not get into these industries, and the whole schooling ecosystem might change. All these
It has
jobs,
to.
Yeah.
all the jobs might be irrelevant, and we'd have to have new courses. And I don't know if colleges will exist at all in the future. I have all sorts of things that are running in my head. But the point is, let's talk about that generation that is coming into the job market right now, and they do not know, and there is a high volatility there, right? With AI taking over things that they've learned just now. They thought this is going to be valuable in the industry or in the market, but it's not going to be the case as soon as they graduate. What's going to happen for them?
I think they do know. I think people are not that oblivious in that sense that they don't catch the vibe what's going on, because imagine 5 years back, even that's a longer time, 3 years back, we never knew what AI was, and then overnight, now we are creating different LLM models coming from that side of the pond or this side of the pond, and people are having a hard time to even catch up. So I think I kind of disagree on that statement that yes, I realize when these guys are graduating, they do know that, and they have to think for themselves, or their professors for the colleges have to craft something for them so they can create that niche skill set which will help them for next era or decade, and then we can fine tune. I also agree with you, like the younger generation, the 3-year olds and the 4-year olds, it will be kind of hard coded in their ecosystem on day to day. So for them, it's going to be a different set of challenges and different set of job markets. So what and how it's going to be, it's evolving. I'm not sure how it's going to look like, but these guys who are graduating or about to graduate, for next 5 years, I think it's going to be a flood.
I think
Go
another thing I
ahead.
want to add on, I'm not sure if Prasanna might be a little too younger in our in terms of generation for us. The first time, how many of us heard about AI and what AJ brought about, right? I've been in the industry I graduated my engineering back in 2004, 22 years. 22 years ago, I would say, give it or take, 24 years ago, right after my first semester, second semester, I heard AI then. And imagine what we used to do, AI and robotics.
Mhm.
It was all about pattern recognition back in 2002, 2004. Pattern recognition in terms of, imagine all those, what we call today in terms of the missile launching system as to where would you intercept. All those was robotics and AI then.
Mhm.
Was one of the hardest fields to be there, because then you had to have the job markets available in back home in India when we were all graduating. So I was like, okay, it was good to know. I studied, I put it on the backlog, and then I took on to the UI UX component Java and then run with the whole thing. But imagine, and let's kind of come back 2 decades now. What AI from then to robotics has done today is, you imagine, we were talking about, we just spoke about countries like China. I would say China is kind of spiral and skyrocketed in terms of AI. They've got AI docs, they've got AI soldiers, they've got robotics soldiers and everything. The level at which they've gone into AI, and they're already showcasing everything in the war front today. You talk about wherever, it's all about optics, right? AI and everything that's coming in. What beyond this? What beyond this exists? And you're right. I mean, it kind of scares me a lot. Uh, Not in terms of where AI has reached, but then though AI is going to be fighting all the battles, not literally battles, and looking in terms of the job markets, education system, even probably taking care of your chores at home. You'll have robots like the time we had Space Age, Spacely. What was that? The cartoons we used. Jetsons.
Jetsons.
Imagine Jetson concepts, Spacely, and everything that came in. What after? My biggest worry is not even talking about your kid. I mean, the eldest one you've got, AJ. Um, I think next 2 or 3 years is also going to be a very tough battle. You don't know what will change. The rate at which everything is going on, I'm like,
There's another angle I want to bring into that, Sayed. It just came in my mind. The level of gap between the first world countries and
mm,
the less progressive countries, third world countries, the gap will be huge because of this element. So we are, which we call the world power. We talk about Boston Dynamics. They are known for humanoid robots you're talking about, but Boston Dynamics is one small fish in a big pond. You have thousands, if not hundreds, of massive companies which are producing these kind of humanoid robots. Drones which are equipped with these dogs and whatever other animals they are using, and they are showcasing that on the world arena. It's creating a different world order as well. So I have a fear that the world would look very different
yep,
after 1 decade. And one
true.
decade is a very small time.
I mean, you're talking about unipolar. I mean, imagine we are no longer in unipolar world. We are no longer
Yeah.
superpowers today. There are different superpowers who've already come to the spotlight. I mean, we just wanted to kind of shy away from the fact, but today they're all standing there.
Mhm.
I remember back when I was studying, my elder brother told me, go ahead and read a book called Barbarians of the Doorway. right?
Mhm.
So today, when I sit back and I spoke to him a couple of days back, I said, like, you're right. You told me about this 2 decades ago. The barbarians are at the doorway. Yeah, just open and there you go. You don't know what you're doing. I kind of concur with what even Prasanna was saying, to what AJ you're mentioning. It's becoming a scary world. I mean, I don't know what the dynamics are gonna look like. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we've just got to get ready and probably get our kids into alternate careers. No longer go tell them don't be engineers. Select whatever. Not to be engineers anymore.
But there is still engineering, like robots are not going to be manufacturing themselves for a while. There is still engineering involved to make them better
Listen how you ended your sentence,
Yeah.
for a while. You know how
for a
scary
while.
that statement is?
Yeah.
For a while can be a 5 year or a 10 year, not more than that. That's just like a
Yeah.
dust particle in the bigger scheme of works, man.
I would say
Mm-hmm.
2 years. Prasanna is an AI expert and enthusiast. I kind of know him. I work with him, and most of us have. And I'll kind of listen to what he has. Prasanna, last thing that we heard was AI. Once you got this LLMs written, you can't take them out because AI has gone into its own protective mode. Have you not heard that? It's already doing. There was one article from Harvard University or from Cambridge. I have to look out it. They say like AI is on the edge of safeguarding itself in terms of the code that you've written. It is
Zero
not going to
days
allow you to
approaching.
delete. Just imagine, we're not talking 5 years or 10 years.
No, I recently heard a news about there was an AI only social platform where agents only can register themselves, they can talk to each other, and it made a phone call. I think Karpati posted something about somebody's agent called them, and after having a social media conversation, they were trying to rail up against the person who created it. It's science fiction to an extent. It's an edge case because you need to give the API and all the billing access for an agent to go and register a phone number on your behalf. You're just vibing at that point. Or somebody was trying to intentionally see and skew it in a way that it needs to act on its own. So somebody should have programmed it. I personally don't think LLMs are there in a mode that it's a binary because there are a lot of animated videos that talks about how LLMs are actually created. At the end of the day, it's a binary, it's a matrix in multi-dimension. So it's a hard-coded information that sit in a machine on an air-gapped instance. So there are research very much interested in anthropics where you can trace back the reasoning of how the LLM behaves the way it is. I think that's where the evolution is. Then we can get a sense of Skynet is not going to happen because we know how it thinks now. So I think that's where it's going to steer away soon. You just need the observability because it's a black box. You as a developer of the LLM can know what it has because you know the training data. But for somebody, it might look science fiction. So
But
that's where I would say,
one,
yeah.
but once AGI hits Prasanna, will this observability still help?
No, define AGI. That's
Well,
very subjective
like
because people are yeah.
yeah, okay. But if it is going to make decisions on its own, and then um, you're going to give robots LLMs, right? And they're going to be walking around and living among us, right? So maybe 100-pound robot. To stop a 100-pound robot, you'll probably need 10 human beings. Once it starts making decisions, what are we going to do with monitoring data and all that?
No, we can't. We can't do anything. That's where achieving AGI is a number of things. You just want to give a global or a world model that has capable of reasoning on any question that is thrown at it with all the tools to its disposal. That's dangerous. We can achieve it, yeah, sure, but I don't think anybody would want that unless you're super evil to do about
But
it.
we're all
Because super,
but we're all talking about. Sorry, I think you cut out for a second. I spoke over you. Go ahead.
I did. Yeah, I was talking
Go
about
ahead. Go
world
ahead.
models that nobody wants to develop something that can autonomously think and act to infinite extent. It won't be realistic. It won't be practical. I don't see a much use case except disruption. So companies like Anthropic who are like really sensitive about privacy of the users and how far these agents can go and the model capability it has, it is well defined. So the way they are approaching is far more realistic than just somebody like OpenAI come out and say that we achieved AGI, because that can mean a number of things. Nobody wants that. We need predictability. We need trackability. We can have a vague input and try to see if it can come up with a expected response that is good enough. But rather than saying I may give like a number of input, but you should be capable of just getting anything out of it, and you be the decider of what the output would be. That kind of AGI, I don't think anybody is working towards that. I mean, companies are not propaganding like that. At least the one company I closely follow is definitely Anthropic. They are true to what they're trying to achieve, and I would stick to their best practice in terms of how an industry should use AI rather than just using AI for the sake of achieving AGI. I think that nobody would like at the end of the day.
Got you, got you. But let's come back to the video industry for a moment. So we were talking about what's going to change in the video industry and video generation. That's what we started talking about. I guess we've gotten into a moral discussion about all of AI. So, where do we think we are headed in the very near future in terms of the video industry alone and the advertisement and video generation space?
So the generation capability is definitely getting better. The kind of model that it takes, like compute wise, the cost wise, the token wise, it's definitely exponentially efficient. And the difference between models, like the generation gap, is like day and night. So there is only so far you can augment it. So the only problem that I see the video generation AI capability that is lacking is duration. How long you can make a story from a prompt or a voice input or something that you dictate, and it generates and maintain the consistency throughout the whole video session for X amount of time. I think that number has to increase exponentially, and there should be evals for the output it generated, and we need to have a way to feed back in and just keep augmenting just that video instead of just generating new one every single time, because that's very inefficient. I think that's where I think the leaders like OpenAI are heading towards. I think they have tie-ups with companies like Disney, so they're working closely with them. So like I said initially, it's going to be a development in terms of movie production going forward. They're going to get into a phase like how you initialize a empty repo and just have your PRD kind of files written, like what are the constraints it needs to work with. So people will start with like the first title card with that kind of context and just keep going for like 1.5 hour of video using this futuristic model that is capable of generating like scene by scene, line by line, frame by frame, with a consistent fashion. I think that's where
But
it's
as
heading
of today,
towards.
I think I see a lot of good progress when after AI came in, right? Like I can consume content in my own language, and that is becoming easier and easier. So it'll sound
Oh
like
yeah.
the real person has dubbed it, and it can even lip sync everything that is being talked about, and it's going to be in my language, and it's way more easier to consume. There's subtitles are, I think, going away very soon. I don't think
Oh
anybody
yeah,
will need
you can
subtitles.
see it
They'll
on
be able to
YouTube also. You
consume
can
things.
listen it in any
Yeah.
number of audio,
Oh yeah.
and
Yes.
that is
Yep.
like multi-modals merging, colliding together, and working in
Mhm.
tandem. Not at
Yep.
real time, but I think when you upload the video, so I think YouTube like platforms are doing it offline, saving multiple files and making it accessible for a number of languages. Yeah, that I really enjoy. I think that's text to speech or speech to text kind of generation, which
Yeah, and
is again
translation also.
multimodal capability like Gemini models.
Yep. And so I would like watching movies with that. So I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube which are currently not like lip synced, and they're probably like commentary. That is what it sounds like right now. But soon enough, I think we'll have the same movie released in 15 languages all in the same day without having anybody to work on it. That is, I think, a very welcome sign for movie makers. That is an immediate um, available option for them. They can release in any number of languages without too much work. As if
That
the
is a
same
good
actor
use
dubbed it.
case. That is a good use case for a AI content.
Yeah.
That is not the use case which we intentionally started talking about. We
That was,
thought about AI. Yeah. So
that was,
this is a good use
that
case.
was suddenly we have AJ as pro AI, but only
I'm
for
not
dubbing.
pro AI, not pure AI or non AI. I still stands in the middle. I still want human in the loop, because if everything is, I still want to keep our conversation towards AI content. So if everything is getting flooded in the market, which is AI generated, I think it will lose my respect. That's all I'm saying. You can pick up one of the best shows, like for me, Sopranos, the Godfather movies, the Tulsa King, which is recently, or there's a show called Blacklist on Netflix. If I truly know that humans are not involved, honestly, I think I'm one of those people. I will say, you know what, screw that. I'm not gonna watch it.
But
Maybe
how many
my next.
people, how many of you would like to watch an old movie remastered by AI?
I don't think I will watch. For the sake of an argument, if we talk about Godfather, I will say hell no. Absolutely.
What do you think your son would say about the same question?
He is going in a different era, Hari. That's what the difference is.
Yeah,
We
if
are
they've
a
never
different.
watched
Yeah,
Godfather, for example, would they
it would
consume
not
that
make a
content?
difference.
But would they
I don't think
consume the AI generated content, which is way more flashy, or the black and white content? Which one would be more appealing for the next generation?
Why are you going way back to black and white now?
I don't think they even would understand or comprehend what Godfather is all about. The kids nowadays,
Yeah.
right? Then it's like, yeah, maybe like I say, like if you're talking about Iron Man and all those, maybe to an extent. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking uh, when you did mention what happens, streaming industry and everything today is seeing a depletion already. And we have an influx of a lot of AI. Just imagine what would happen. People will start losing business. Acquisitions, just trying to retain one brand is what it will end up being. Saying, okay, one of the
Just
top
for
brand will just
humanity's sake, is that a good thing or a bad thing? That we are just going to stray away from social media and all this AI generated content. At some point, you're going to say, to hell with all of these. I'm just not going to consume anything from social media. Just go live my life again.
Or as a human race, we might do a reset.
yeah.
Yes. You,
Or we
you
might
guys see that?
just
See that coming? I don't know.
And no, it's too early. It's too early. We are on the uphill battle right now.
Right.
I don't. Yeah, you're right. The reset. I don't see a possibility of a reset right away. But yeah, we might go away from all the uh, video on demand and just stick on with news or anything that is linear until unless it's like AI generating linear. So do hell with that. I would go back to the radio era where we
Prasanna
just
has a
listen to.
YouTube channel generating AI-based news.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
it's not AI based. I
It's just
explained
real
my
news, but
reasoning for it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's more like a Google service broke and I built my own thing. So their automation broke because someone wiped it. So, and I'm not waiting for them to fix it anymore. And yeah, it's my way of consuming you. So I dictate every single source it needs to scrape from, how the progression of starting to finish should look like. Then I thought like, yeah, probably I'll just publish it as a project and see the appeal for it. But I listen to it every day, and it's a development experience to understand what it takes to build product with AI assistance. And I didn't have to write a single line of code. That's the beauty of it. I don't have to anymore. It would have taken me months to come up with all the logic, but I just dictated everything I would have done, and to my surprise, yeah, there are so many learning opportunities, so many eval frameworks I need to write. I think that's how it's going to be in future. Just knowing development, it's not going to be. You just need to be a problem, so you just need to be a generalist at some point. You just need to automate anything. I think that's what expected of like computer science background or computer science based engineers.
Yeah, so people are going to be way more intelligent, way more multi-threaded and multi-capable, I'd say.
Yeah, intelligent might be difficult. It's going to be a brain drain. Again, if people starting with vibing, they wouldn't understand the pain of building something with all the wrong ways possible. I think I would say people at
But
my
we've
level,
come through this.
uh,
History teaches about this, Prasanna, right? There were like auditors before computers, right? Computers did not kill auditors, or
but
there
auditors
was
did the
machine level
groundwork
code.
before
There,
using computers, right?
right. So we
They
do
did
the
the groundwork.
groundwork. We do the groundwork. Like you didn't write machine level code,
No.
right? You didn't do coding on an 8080 processor or
Uh,
something. So, but you become a good computer engineer. You are working on a different abstraction level. The abstraction levels are not going to stop coming.
that's a fair assessment. But I think there is no more abstraction left. You're just writing code at this point. What is there
That
to abstract away from? You are
I
as
mean,
close to a product as it can be, and you are
I would
abstracting
argue
that
the
also away with
people.
prompts.
I mean, I would argue people would have said the same thing like 20 years ago when computers came in. What more is there
Maybe
to invent?
yeah, I'm seeing some threads talking about like why not we just have a unified language that's going to be good at everything and that's going to be prompt first. So no logic, no syntax to worry about. It's just going to be prompting as the language. I see the value in it. I think that's the last level of abstraction you can get. Like then it can be voice instead of typing. I see the value in it, but I think the one that people miss the most at this level is the thought process. If there is a problem, you still can't vibe it. Like if you're an auditor before using computers, you know the in and out of the logic, you know the math. That there is some way that you can roll up your sleeve and drill down. But if you are never really architected an end-to-end solution and started with here is a prompt, go build the stuff, it can build it. But after 5 days, if something is not working or something is not up to the standard, uh, who is going to be able to fix it? You just
It's
lean on
going to be
AI.
another
There
agent
is no
fixing it.
you on that. Yeah,
It's going to be another agent fixing it.
yeah.
So,
Then there is
right,
nothing to for
like
you to do.
maybe 5 years ago, right? If you had to build a mobile app, it was a whole year project, right? And you had to release it and maintain it and all sorts of stuff. Today, you can build a mobile app in a day all by yourself, but it just makes it faster and more
No,
efficient.
I did build it. I am telling you, it's definitely faster, but it is
Hmm.
not going to be production ready. It's
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
see, building an app is not just about done with, I'm build it and that's the end of story, right? No, you have to make people use it. You need to contribute for future improvements. AI can do to a certain extent, but it's not really good at assessing every single aspect of it. Like it can
So
code,
as of
but
right
it's
now,
not gonna be good at architecting too,
Mhm. As of right now, it is
like
basically
deploying.
just predicting the
Mhm.
next text, right? So just LLM models might not help do that, but at some level, AI is going to get good at architecting as well. I would assume the whole architecture would be designed by AI, deployed and maintained, and all of that.
It
I
can
see
be,
that
but
coming
I
very
would
soon.
position, yeah, it can be, but I would position myself to be the orchestrator of the whole thing rather than having another agent do it for me because you have to be on the driving seat at some aspect to add some
Mhm.
value and do justice for engineering. And I would like to sit on that orchestrator seat rather than letting. I mean, I can do it. I mean, I'm trying that too, but at some point you will feel like you are not doing much. You're just helping that and pushing its limits to solve it, giving the capability, giving the context, and fixing its memory problem. You are just making that better rather than yeah, your idea is gone and you're just working for AI at the end of the day. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
yep.
I think what Prasanna is also trying to explain is, Hari, remember one of the earlier questions you had is what happens to the job market?
Hmm.
Imagine if I'm one of the investors today. Like let's talk Google, let's talk Microsoft, Oracle, or even our main icon that we always look at, uh, building Tesla and everything that he came around with,
Hmm.
Elon Musk, right?
Hmm.
guys at that level, Elon Musk is also an engineer. Some of these guys are engineers who build things around. But imagine if you're not getting into engineering, you at least have the decorum of designing and architecting something. You already got a vision. You don't need the upward pyramid or inverted pyramid, right? It's there's one guy sitting on the top. He's already built everything in terms of the models and how they need to interact. They're like kind of smart enough. Click of a button, the whole thing is getting generated, right?
Mhm.
You'll just have a small army of probably another agent sets who are going to kind of uh, tinker bells, I would call, as AI models, who are gonna make sure that everything is in place. And then what happens is your entire layer um, of workmanship or workforce is gone. There's people who are going to invest, who've got the money. They just make a decision by a click of a button. It's all done.
Mhm.
You don't need anybody else, and you'll have like applications being deployed into production. It's not working out, take it out, throw it away, a new thing, because it's a click of a button. Again, it comes out. Everything is getting automated. So um, I don't think, maybe vibing is fine. Like I completely agree with Prasanna. But at some point of time, there has to be a win-win situation. That's where you have to draw that median in between, saying, okay, it's not AI completely. I understand you've been blessed. Like, for example, one of us, I know for a while with AJ, he's smart as when it comes down to money markets, right? He knows how to play that money market. I'm not. Some of us are really strong with design skills and technology. You need to marry these things together. I mean, if you build a complete skill set of all artificial intelligence everywhere around, I don't see. Uh, Again, it's Skynet, Terminator, right? That's basically where we are heading towards, and you're just fighting for survival.
So
Yeah, that's
let's
like
circle back to the topic which we had
yeah.
on hand journally. I want to mention one thing which I wrote down a few days back, Hari, if you allow me a second. I want to mention this. AI can make content limitless. I get that, but not meaningful by default. The human must still provide the judgment. And that was my first point when we started that human in the loop. So the human must still provide the judgment, truth, and accountability. That is very, very important because when the content becomes infinite, I still goes to that point, humanity becomes the premium.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to derail from that. Yeah, I've seen lots of sci-fi movies. I've seen a lot of scenarios. I've ran scenarios in my head as well. But humans should be in the loop. European Union has talked about that many times in multiple World Economic Forums as well. And I'm aligned with that too because you cannot give an infinite limitless power no matter in what shape and form we are using the content.
Yep. And I think Norway is already stepping up. That you've heard that they've put in a rule up to the age of 12, I believe.
16,
16,
16,
right? Yeah.
16,
Kids
yes.
cannot use
Yeah.
smartphones, smart apps, AIs. That it's completely a no-no. I mean, they've
So
understood.
So the TikTok, which lives between the era of age 12 to age 19, they're gonna lose tons of audience because of that, which I think is they are doing really good for the economy because they want to create that family ecosystem environment. Like, let's talk about everything else minus AI, minus contents. So I agree on that alignment to some degree. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I guess we're running out of time, guys. Appreciate all the comments, great ideas, extremely good arguments on both sides. And let's listen from the audience as well. Feel free to comment about your views of AI as you watch this. We appreciate you listening. Thanks for all of your time,
Absolutely.
guys. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all.
Thank you, Prasanna, for joining us. Thanks.